Now to introduce our 2011 Department Citation winner, Brian Michael Weissenberg. Mr. Weissenberg double majored in political science and religious studies and has, in his time at Berkeley, dedicated himself to studying the interaction of these two defining interests in contemporary American life. As a research assistant at the Ethics and Public Policy Center in Washington, D.C., Brian helped former President George W. Bush speechwriters Peter Weiner and Michael Gearson craft their book, City of Man, Religion and Politics in a New Era, which details the historic role of religion in American politics and offers insight into its future role. More recently, Brian completed an honors thesis that asks the question, how has the Supreme Court decided on the matter of religion in public schools over the past 25 years? Mr. Weissenberg concludes that the court has not, unlike what most of us might think, actively sought to remove or maintain religion in public schools for its own sake, but rather has acted as a staunch champion of individual rights. Brian proudly calls Phi Alpha Theta Berkeley's pre-law fraternity as his home away from home, and has served as president of Sigma Nu fraternity, where he says he puts all his coursework on the American presidency and strategic leadership to good use. Following graduation, Mr. Weissenberg's immediate plans are to work at Dobell and Lunar LLP and to volunteer in local politics. And I have a sneaking suspicion that law school is not far behind these plans, and if we are lucky, that we will see him at Bowl Hall soon enough. As for his longer-term plans, I have a further sneaking suspicion that we will one day be looking at an electoral ballot with the name Brian Michael Weissenberg on it. So without further ado, I give you the 2011 Department Citation winner, Brian Michael Weissenberg. Congratulations.
What's up, guys? Thank you, Professor Lee. I would like to begin by thanking the Department of Political Science for this great honor, and especially those patient and kind professors who have put up with me these past 4 years. Whatever I have achieved academically comes back to you, and I will never forget your role in my life and in shaping my outlook. I would also like to thank my many friends and family members in the audience supporting me here today. I especially want to thank my little 6-year-old sister Brooke for being here today. I promise to keep this short, Brooke, so that we can once again go and watch that Justin Bieber movie. Now, I told myself I would never watch that movie again, but Justin Bieber taught me to never say never. It is my pleasure to be standing here speaking to the greatest graduating class in the history of this university. However, I'm not going to use my time here to lecture you. Your graduation cap and gowns mean you've had enough of that. Instead, I want to talk about the memories of our generation that unite us here today, and the promise that our generation holds for years to come. An occasion like this brings back for me, as I'm sure it does for you, a flood of memories. I remember refusing to go on a family trip to Hawaii because I desperately wanted to finish my 5th grade science project. My dad sat me down and said, "Brian, I know this goes against everything we've taught you, but elementary school doesn't really count, so you don't have to try so hard." Hi, Dad. I went on that trip to Hawaii, but I'm glad I never stopped trying so hard. I remember sunny afternoons before Al Gore invented the internet, filled with frozen Go-Gurt, Pogs, and evenings filled with Nickelodeon shows that are far better than what's on these days. I remember when there were only 150 Pokemon, and back when there was only one Land Before Time. I remember attending 3 different high schools in California and Texas because of family issues outside of my control, and being told that Berkeley was not the place for me. I remember being told that a Republican had no place in Berkeley, and I responded that an American has a place in all 50 states, and even all of America's colleges and universities. I remember being told that I would not find God in Berkeley, and I responded that if God is God, then He is everywhere. even at Berkeley. I remember being told that I would have an easier time in community college, and I responded that I was not looking for an easier time, but a place to finally call home. And I knew I'd found the place to call home the minute I was accepted into Cal. And so did you. Whatever forces brought you to Cal, whatever experimenting you've done with your majors, we are united here today as graduates in political science. And we've been a pretty political class. We were the class that learned that a tree divided against itself cannot stand. Some of us said, 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this campus a new grove of trees, and on this campus, those trees will stay. Others of us said, Mr. Tree Sitter, tear down those trees to give our Golden Bears a new arena for victory. We were the class who said, ask not what your university can do for you, but what you can do for your university, and protested in solidarity against unfair budget cuts to our great university. We were the class that was speechless after September 11th. But just weeks ago, we became the class that said, let freedom ring, when Osama bin Laden was finally brought to justice. And we, even some Republicans must admit, were the class that flooded the streets on election night 2008 because we said, yes, we can, and gave Obama his moment, his time. But today is our moment. It's our time. Today, the world clamors for our leadership. Today, the world faces a remarkable uprising in the Middle East, with people who have suffered enormous oppression now clamoring for justice and what Jefferson called unalienable rights. As graduates in international relations, Berkeley has given us the tools to answer their call. Today, nations around the globe, from Latin America to Africa to the Middle East, face a difficult challenge of establishing a government that secures basic human rights and allows people the opportunity to flourish. As graduates in comparative politics and political theory, Berkeley has given us the tools to answer their call. Today, our nation faces fiscal and entitlement crises, enormous challenges in the areas of education and energy, stiff competition from abroad. As I'm sure we all know, it still ain't easy to get a job. But as graduates of American politics, Berkeley has given us the tools to answer their call. Those things are in need of attention, but there's time enough to worry about all that tomorrow. Today, let's talk about what you face. If you look to your left and right, you face your fellow graduates. These are the men and women who share your political science battle wounds, of which poli-sci 3 is perhaps the most severe. If you look behind you, you will face your friends and your family. These are the men and women who have seen you through to this point. Take a look in particular at your parents' smiling faces. They're smiling for what you have achieved. And I would add, they're smiling at the prospect of once again having disposable income. And of course, in our silent moments, we have to face ourselves. We have undergone world-renowned training in the art of a statesman in our past years at Cal. We have read book after book, written paper after paper, taken exam after exam. And to what end? This experience has, for many of you, kindled a flame of leadership in your own heart. Inside some of you may be a future lawyer, professor, or future government official. Inside others may be a future governor or future legislator, Supreme Court justice, or even the President of the United States. Time will tell. But none of this and nothing good will happen by itself. A diploma can be a key of sorts, unlocking many opportunities, but we still need to walk through the door. We still need to do the hard work that great causes demand. Nothing is promised to any of us, but what this day signifies is that we've at least been prepared to do great things. And for that, we owe thanks to great parents and great professors and a great university. I will end on this note. For 4 years, when visiting sports teams have come to face our Golden Bears, we've sung a traditional Cal Pride song. You know it, you tell the story. You tell the whole damn world that this is their territory. But starting today, the world will play host to a new breed of Golden Bear, whose graduates in political science have the opportunity to reshape power and politics in the modern era. Now that we're moving on to a bigger stage, it's not just our stadium, not just our university. will show the whole entire world that it is Bear territory. Congratulations and good luck, everyone.
Okay, that we're not special enough to commemorate this day. We have one more speaker this afternoon to send our imaginations